I've been teaching teachers how to progress monitor and supporting them with data-based decision making for a while now, and I've discovered there are 4 main fears that teachers have about sharing progress monitoring data with families. What are they? Let's dig into them. The first fear is fear of parents pressuring their child. This concern is understandable. I mean, nobody wants their child to feel additional stress. However, in my experience, I would ask you to consider this. What is the evidence you have that parents are going to use the data that you give them to pressure their children with? My experience from being a parent of a neurodiverse child and from working with a large number of families of children who have neurodiversities is that parents are already living with the daily reality of their child's struggles. They've seen the tears over spelling lists, the exhaustion after school, and the meltdowns at bedtime. They know their child is doing the absolute best they can, and they know that they can't just simply tell their child to work harder and that will fix it. Now, I'm not saying that there are no parents out there who don't believe that their child is just lazy, but I'm saying that they're in the distinct minority. I think that the chances of you encountering this as an actual problem with a child is much smaller than you think. When you share the progress monitoring data, especially when you share it with the compassion and the clear explanations that I know you will, parents typically, in my experience, feel relieved. The data provides clarity and a sense of direction. It reassures them that their child is being supported in a meaningful way. I think sometimes parents think their kids is lazy because they don't understand. And by sharing this kind of data with them, we're increasing their knowledge, increasing their understanding, and seeing in graphical data just how hard their kid is actually working. So this may be something that we can flip on its head actually, with sharing them some of this data. Okay, fear number 2, the fear of parents misinterpreting graphs. I'm sorry, but this myth needs to just go. Like, who do we think parents are? Parents have been through a fair bit of education themselves, typically, and parents absolutely can understand graphs, especially if you can take a couple minutes at the beginning of the year to walk them through it. Can we explain the graphs to them? So this is just a progress monitoring graph I made in Excel just to show that we can do this even if we don't have the fancy data management software. We can easily plot, even if you do this by hand on a graph, you can easily plot the student's start point, their baseline, and the goal, where you want them to get to, where the hope is for them to get to, and then draw a straight line from one to the other. This is very easy, and parents can very quickly understand this. Now, as the year goes on, we can show them how we're plotting the progress monitoring data on that graph. On here, I've made these the same color, like the same boldness, but really what I usually do is I make the individual progress monitoring data line much paler, so the eye is focused on the average line, because we do want to explain to parents that this line, whilst it's interesting and useful, it's got a lot of shift in it, and that's to do with the assessments and not necessarily to do with their child, although everybody has good days and bad days, so there is a little bit of that in there too. The key is overall, are they going to make the goal? Are they improving? And this average line very clearly shows that, even to somebody who doesn't have a master's degree in data science. Every time I've shared a progress graph with a parent, the response, honestly, has been the same. Thank you. This gives me clarity, and it takes less than a minute to explain to them, and that's time well spent for building trust and partnership. So don't use this fear of the parents misinterpreting the graphs as an excuse for not sharing this data. Honestly, they may not know the nuances of it, but these graphs are fairly easy to pick up the gist from because they're level A assessments. You don't Like, none of us need to have a PhD to do this work. So parents absolutely can sort this out in their heads, even if they don't have the same level of nuance to it as you do. Okay, fear number 3. The fear is that other teachers won't support you if you share this data. Now, oh my goodness, I completely hear you on this one. I have been there. It's no secret that educational systems often lack consistency. You might work alongside teachers who don't value progress monitoring or use outdated methods, and it can be really isolating to push forward with evidence-based practices when the team around you isn't on the same page. But here's the key. You don't need everyone's buy-in to do what's right for your students. You're not here to change the whole system overnight. That's a monumental task. Instead, focus on what you can control, providing the best possible support for your learners. If someone questions your approach, stick to the facts. Explain that progress monitoring isn't about judgment, it's about meeting students' needs. You might even inspire curiosity or spark a shift in mindset. Change often starts with small, quiet actions, and by leading with integrity and research-backed practices, you can set an example that others may eventually follow. I'm a big Richard Wagamese fan. I love this quote from him. That humble energy, that kind that says, I do what I can right now in my small way. So, fear number 4 is the big one, the fear of reprisal if there isn't enough progress. This is the fear that lack of progress will reflect poorly on you as a teacher. Frankly, I would argue this is the main reason. This is the reason underneath all the other reasons that people are afraid to progress monitor at all, and they don't want to share the data. Okay, I want you to take a deep breath. We need to take a mind shift here. We need to move from the place of connecting student performance to our self-worth to a place of collaboration. Are you ready? We need to shift from what does this data say about me to what can we do next? When progress is slow or stalled, it's an opportunity for collaboration. Obviously, we are mainly collaborating with our team. We are trying to work out how we can move the students' progress on, but we can also bring the family into that conversation. We can share what strategies have been tried, what's working, and what the next steps are. And we can even invite them to contribute, like how, just ask them from a place of curiousness, like how do you think you might be able to help at home? Maybe the answer is I could do extra reading with my child every day, or maybe the answer is my child is going through significant stress and I'm going to just focus on creating a really, really warm and safe environment at home for them now. Both are okay. It's really about including them and being part of that conversation and having everybody understand that we're all doing our best. Progress monitoring isn't a report card on you. It's a tool for building a stronger support team for the student. Sharing progress monitoring data with families isn't just about transparency. It's about creating a partnership. When families see the data, they feel included, informed, and empowered. It helps to shift the conversation from frustration to collaboration, opening the door to creative solutions of shared effort. Yeah, it takes time, vulnerability, and a little courage, but the payoff is huge. Stronger relationships with families, better support for students, and a clearer path forward for everyone. So, this report writing season, take a deep breath. Embrace the process and remember, you are not just reporting data, you're building bridges. Are you ready to master progress monitoring and to use data to accelerate your students' learning? If yes, check out our data-based intervention learning cohort starting in January. Training is all online and a mixture of synchronous and asynchronous learning to be both flexible and targeted. so you can walk away feeling confident and empowered by the end of the 4-week course. For more information, check out the link in the description.